To the Pacific coast, the attack on Pearl Harbor brought the war terrifyingly close. Not half a world away, but just offshore. From the first tense days when a Japanese attack on the U.S. mainland was expected hourly, it was apparent that the Pacific coast was destined to be in the war up to its neck. But citizens everywhere along the coast were far too busy with emergency preparation to speculate on what war would do to their established way of life, what long-term problems it was to bring. First to experience war's disruptive effects were the coast's 112,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans. Before the war was 24 hours old, Kisi and Nisi were being rounded up and shipped off to internment camps to forestall possible sabotage. But the relocation of these people was no more than a minor incident in the general wartime upheaval, which was to alter profoundly the social and economic life of the entire region. To the Pacific coast came industrialization, ready-made, full-fledged, and on a vaster scale than the most optimistic Chamber of Commerce could have hoped for. Immense new shipyards up and down the coast were soon turning out ships by the score. California found its young aircraft industry suddenly grown to almost unimaginable proportions, while mammoth new plants went into operation in the Northwest, each with a greater output in a single week than America had in peacetime in an entire year. And with huge new mills in California and nearby Utah offering the West an opportunity to end its dependence on Eastern steel, the Pacific coast felt itself headed at last toward a momentous new economic destiny. Up and down the coast, wherever there was room to set up a machine, thousands of little plants began operating on subcontract. Everywhere, energies were drawn into the war-expanded field. Industry. To operate the new war plants, every obtainable man and woman on the coast was put to work. But more were needed. They poured in from other states by the hundreds of thousands, overrunning the cities and creating serious housing and health problems. Few buildings were too decrepit and unsanitary to serve as human habitations. Everywhere, coast cities faced the need of providing new homes for their soaring populations. Seattle and Tacoma had to cope with 171,000 newcomers, San Diego with 126,000. Other cities doubled and even quadrupled their original population. Children were herded into hastily built schools. All shared in the problem of adjustment to abnormal conditions which were warping out of shape the old social structure of the coast. Today, for all its booming industries and rising payrolls, the West Coast is uneasy. For with the end of the Pacific War will come the big problem, how to change over, not to the old economy geared to the old population, but to a new peacetime economy, capable of providing jobs for a population 20% greater than before the war. Reflected in polls of public opinion is the anxiety of the West Coast about the future, an anxiety greater than in any other section of the country.
After the war, do you think that everyone who wants a job will be able to find one?
No, I certainly don't. By all the people the war has brought here, I just don't see what we're ever going to do with them after the war plant's shut down. How are we ever going to find jobs for them?
The fears of the 70% who foresee trouble are well-founded. For to the coast's biggest wartime industries, peace will inevitably bring drastic curtailment. Aircraft tycoons know that construction of their new superliners will absorb but a fraction of the industry's present capacity. Though shipbuilding, conversion, and repair will keep busy some of the yards which have sprung up during the war, most of them will have to be abandoned. The future of the light metals industry is more hopeful, but this will depend upon its ability to cut production costs. In its abundance of hydroelectric power, the coast places great hope for retaining its high degree of industrialization. But whether peacetime industries to utilize this power can be lured from the big markets in the East remains a question. In addition, water as a source of power may lose the importance it has today as science develops new sources. In West Coast laboratories, as in the East, scientists are threatening to release the energy of the atom. If this form of power should become commercially available, others will be obsolete.